you in my heart. Point away to Arkansas and throw me like a dart. Bathe me up in lithium, God knows I need a friend. In a hot spring, new dream, well, start another band, play it, boys.
If you hadn't liked and subscribed and rang the bell so that you'll be notified of our future videos, please do so. I really love making these videos, trying to get the word out about our channel, and you'd really be helping me out if you would just like and subscribe right now. Thank you. All right, guys, so tonight we're cooking Wagyu beef again on the Blazing Bull. Most of you know that I'm a big fan of Wagyu beef for a multitude of reasons. Dave Drilling from Booth Creek Wagyu reached out to me via Facebook, and he and his son are apparently starting a Wagyu ranch up in Kansas. And they're going to specialize in purebred 100% Wagyu beef, and I think it's going to be pretty amazing. He asked if I would try it and give him my opinion. So that's what we're going to do today. So what is Wagyu beef anyway? Wagyu basically stands for Japanese cow. The Wagyu beef line started over in Japan, and depending on the region, a lot of times you'll hear it, called Kobe beef. You'll hear it called the different regions of Japan there. Their Kobe beef over there is highly, highly marbled. And as I understand it, I've never personally had it, but it's really good. But as Wagyu was brought over to the United States, the ranchers basically call it Wagyu beef over here. And there's different grades of Wagyu depending on if it's half and half or if it's a full blood. F1 is what I typically eat, and basically that's half Wagyu and half Angus. And I get it from a local company here, and it's very good. But Booth Creek Wagyu reached out to me, Dave and his son Tyler, and they started a new ranch out there in Kansas, and their specialty is going to be purebred Wagyu. And so they asked me if I'd give it a try on the channel here, and I'm excited to do it. The ribeye that they sent me, the marbling is absolutely insane. So I want to make sure everybody understands what marbling is. It's basically intramuscular fat. So this is not marbling. Marbling is all the fat that you're seeing inside of the muscle here, and fat is flavor, especially when it comes to Wagyu beef. Fat is the juiciness, it's the tenderness, it's just everything when it comes to a steak. So if you go to a grocery store and you're picking up a traditional steak, make sure you get the one that's got a lot of fat inside of the muscle there. And so anyway, we're excited to try this out tonight. I've already done a salt brine and getting it down to room temperature, and we're going to throw it on the Blazing Bull and see how it tastes. They packaged the beef pretty cool. They dropped it in the overnight mail on Monday. I received it on Tuesday, and it was pretty cool. It came cold packed. Came in this bag with all kinds of cold packing and everything in there. And I thought that their marketing is just really on point. So not only is that bag pretty cool, but it also came with this really cool brochure. And I thought this was a very unique touch. So not only does it tell about them, it tells about the history of Wagyu beef, and it tells about kind of how they're sustaining their herds. So really just a pretty cool touch. Okay, so this ribeye has been basically dry brined in salt for a few hours now. Typically I like to do it for 24 hours, but it's a really good way to get the flavor of the salt into your steak. It literally, if you look here at the steak, it literally pulls the salt down into the muscle, and it just gives you an intense flavor. I'll put my other seasonings on right before we go onto the grill, and it's going to be delicious. This thing is at room temperature now. I'm going to season it the rest of the way, and we're going to get it on the Blazing Bull. I thought tonight, in honor of my Meat Church hat, so that's a YouTube channel, local guy here that has a great channel. I'm a big fan. He's got a seasoning store over in Waxahachie, Texas. We're going to use his product tonight. I've never used it before, and it's the Holy Cow seasoning. So hopefully it's delicious. I think it's going to be. So we're going to keep it simple tonight, and we're going to do steak and eggs because you got to have something to eat with your steak, and I'm a big fan of steak and eggs. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool for me to show you how I make my scrambled eggs. I think they're pretty good, and I see a lot of people that just don't do it right. So we're going to start with cage-free, just brown eggs, half and half, or heavy whipping cream, or even Mexican crema is delicious. Pink Himalayan salt and black pepper is all we're going to be using tonight. Okay, so now I've got all my eggs cracked, and basically I'm going to break the yolks, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of half and half. I really like the way that creams up my eggs. Pink Himalayan salt. Be careful not to over salt your eggs. You can always add salt as they're coming off. And then I'm a big fan of pepper in my eggs. Now we're going to start whipping the eggs. I think it's important not to over stir your eggs. And so right there, that's about good enough for me. And then here in a few minutes, I'm going to go on to the skillet with them, and we'll have them with our steaks. We're at the Blazing Bull. You guys have seen me cook on this before. This thing is going to put a 1500 degree sear on that steak, restaurant style. You ever wonder how they get that heavy crust on the restaurant steaks? Blazing Bull, it's that technology is how they do it. So we've got our Booth Creek ribeye here about to go into the Blazing Bull. This steak is not very thick, and so I'm going to have to be very careful about how long I'll leave it. Probably a minute on each side is probably going to do. And here we go. It's going in. So we just pull out our cooking rack. This guy is very tender. Basically, there's two burners, one on this side, one on this side, so we want to line our steak up this way to make sure that it's under the burner. I'm going in, and I'm going up to the top. Okay, so I think we're ready to come down into the butter bath. So basically, here's my steak. I'm at about 105. I'm going to let it finish down in the butter bath. And so we've got all of these amazing drippings and garlic down here to kind of catch that. And so basically we're going to get a good coating on there and send it back in. I want to point out a couple of features about the Blazing Bull. I studied other brands as well, and this is simply, in my opinion, the best brand to buy. It's expensive, but the other competitive brands are the same price, and it all has to do with the Schwenk infrared burners on the inside. There's also some other cool things. I want you to notice how easy this thing operates. I'm not using this thing to adjust the height of the plate. I've got all kinds of adjustment down here. The way that these guys just slide out, super cool. The way that it's just easy, the way that this thing operates. And it's stainless steel construction. It just really works awesome. So I would definitely recommend the Blazing Bull over any other product that I've seen out there. Our steaks are off of the Blazing Bull and they're resting. Our eggs have already been whipped and they're ready to go into the skillet. I've started it with some butter. Heat is not your friend when you're cooking eggs. So very low heat, and when the butter is melted, I'm going to go on with the eggs, and we're going to cook them really slowly is the secret to cooking eggs. Okay, so I like to use a silicone spatula when I'm cooking my eggs, and we're going to basically put them into the pan. So you're hearing them sizzle a little bit, but nothing too extreme. And so basically with my silicone spatula, I'm just keeping them off of the bottom of the pan. I don't want them caking up down there. So the most common mistake that people make with their eggs, I'm going to turn the flame off because heat is not your friend, is they overcook them. So these guys are done. They're nice and juicy. I like cheese. If you don't use it. But basically I put my cheese on at the very end and then basically just mix it up. And then I want to get this thing out of the pan because the pan is still really hot and I don't want these things to keep cooking. So I'm pulling them out of the pan. And then what I like to do at the very end, test my salt. That's perfect. I hit it right on the first time. So the cheese is going to melt on these. We're going to cut our steaks up and we're going to serve them with our steaks. It'll be just like breakfast, even though it's night. Our steak has been rested. We cooked our eggs and now it's go time. We're going to cut this baby up and I'm going to do it with this beautiful handmade knife from Running Man Forge. These things are beautiful. Check him out on Instagram if you want to see his work. It is awesome. Here we go. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. How does the steak taste? So I'm going to take this piece right here. It's absolutely beautiful, super tender. Here we go. Wow. I can't even explain it. Tender, flavorful, juicy beyond belief. Incredible experience. You might want to check these guys out. Who loves you the most? Got to keep my dog fat. These eggs are perfect. We're going to have steak and egg for dinner. Not bad for a Wednesday night. So what do I think about Booth Creek Wagyu? I think it's pretty dang phenomenal is what I think. Thank you for sending me those ribeyes. They were absolutely delicious. I wish I could have dinner like that every night. How does it compare to F1? I don't really know. I should have got one of each to compare, but I can tell you that they're both awesome. If you hadn't tried Wagyu, why not? Because it's expensive. Booth Creek is actually pretty freaking reasonable, so check them out for sure. If you hadn't tried Wagyu with the Blazing Bull, nothing puts a crust on a steak like a Blazing Bull. So, thanks for joining us tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so that you'll be notified every time we have a video. Thank you.
All in the dark, we're all in the dark. You're in the dark, though. You're in the dark. You're in the dark, it just takes a spark. Follow my heart. How about I follow your heart? Oh, I'll follow your heart. Follow your heart, just let me walk beside you. Let me walk.